be in Russia, it might be in New York City, it might be in Kansas City, it might be in L.A. But regardless of the fact, we're talking about what people stand for. I stand for freedom. I don't stand for South Africa. I don't stand for anything else but the right thing. It might be the wild thing. It might be a crazy thing. But it's the right thing. And Ivan, my friend, my pal, don't you know what's going on in the world today? Don't you see? Why can't you make the change?
Ivan Koloff doesn't like a young punk shooting off his mouth, no matter what country he is from, but especially from America. You know, you say you are the greatest amateur wrestler there is, like Steve Ray, the Wild Thing. I'm going to tell you something, young punk. I know more than my little finger about wrestling than you'll ever know, and I'm going to teach you some of that.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the UWF FuryCast, the only podcast where watching Herb Abrams' Fury Hour each week feels like taking a chair shot directly to your soul. I'm Gene Jackson, and this week we've arrived at UWF Fury Hour episode number 13. That's right, folks. Lucky number 13. And oh boy, if you were hoping that this would be the one that would finally make sense, well, stick around and keep hoping, I guess. We've got Colonel DeBeers still being a racist. B. Brian Blair is still being angry. Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff is still jacked and still yelling. Ivan Koloff is still a Soviet menace. And Steve Wild Thing Ray is still having pretty good matches, strangely enough. And Captain Lou is interviewing Cutie Pie Louis Spicoli in a segment that somehow made me question the entire concept of language itself. Let's do it. We kick things off with good old apartheid-loving Colonel DeBeers taking on Ricky Ataki in another squash match that tries way too hard to feel competitive. To his credit, Ataki lands a flying leg drop off the top rope, shades of beautiful Bobby, only to blow it by taking time to jump up to his feet and pump his fist and celebrate like, holy shit, 13 episodes of this, and I finally got some significant offense in. But he didn't get the pin. Colonel DeBeers took back over, and eventually he hit his state of emergency finisher, which in layman's terms is just a mostly poorly executed DDT. That's it. The match is over, and then we get a promo from Mr. DeBeers right here. Let's check out a promo from DeBeers as well as one from Iceman Parsons.
Colonel DeBeers! Colonel DeBeers! Was mit dir? Ich bin der Weltmeister. Was machst du? You know, you are a despicable human being. Listen here, Herb Abrams. I have seen some of the women you go with. Your dentist should be the least of your worries. With only one eye. No one. Despicable. You should know oneself. I don't know what you could see with only half an eye. I'm disabled. I'm a war veteran and I'm disabled. The war in Rhodesia cost me my eye. But it's going to cost you Americans a lot more. Because the wrath of Colonel DeBeers is coming out because of the flank attack by that Negro. That Negro's gonna meet you in New York in 2 days, and Iceman Parsons is not to be reckoned with. See, Colonel, what you don't understand is this man here is a referee. He's not a fighter. You got football referees. These kind of shirts here mean referees, brother. You want to fight, grab on this 250 pound of sex appeal. And love to fight and can get down for real. See, that thing you're talking about over there in Africa, that's why people now then woke up about that. That gimmick went out years ago. This is the 90s, fool. So when you start picking on him, you start picking on family. And blood is thicker than mud. In other words, punk, it's a family affair. So beat up on me now. Like Mama says, see, I'm here for a reason and not for a season. Can you dig it? Have mercy.
All right, so only his second week in the UWF, and Iceman Parsons is already reusing some of his stock lines in promos. Have mercy. Anyway, Welcome to UWF, where racism is the top heel, there's no filter, and there is clearly no post-show editing. I'll explain that one a little more later on. So now our baseball-playing jobber who debuted last week isn't the Lion anymore. He's now Owl Lying. Same difference, I suppose, but they're not really leaning into the whole baseball thing. He's still wearing baseball pants, but we didn't try to put over the gimmick before the match started, which is odd when jobbers have gimmicks anyway. But nonetheless, he's taken on the very angry Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff, like really angry. So angry, he doesn't even take his robe off before steamrolling poor Owl Lion here, who might as well have been a mannequin with a mustache. Orndorff pile drives him into oblivion, yells at the crowd, and then cuts a promo about Dr. Death. We probably need to hear this one as well.
Let's go to him.
Paul Orndorff, you're an angry man. I don't even want you near me. You pushed me last time I interviewed you. I don't even want you near me. We're 2 days away, 48 hours from you meeting the match that you demanded with Steve Dr. Death Williams. What are your feelings on it, Paul?
Let me tell you something right now, baby. Let me tell you something, Doc. I know you're out there somewhere, brother. We're 2 days away from it. Now, you just think about what you did and what you just started. This is kind of like the Middle East, you know, but it's you and I right here in New York, baby. It's going to happen. And I don't mind telling you right now, Doc, I'm a little upset, and I might not be a real nice guy sometimes, but I'm going to tell you when I step into that ring that all hell is going to break loose. And I'm telling you, brother, somebody is going to get hurt. And I don't mind telling you. If it means picking a chair up, if it means getting a cane from a little old lady, then I'll do just that. But it really doesn't matter to me anymore because I haven't forgot the stitches right here in my head, my friend. You think about it because I've thought about it now for the last month. The match has been signed. New York, your town, your area, Paul Orndorff, but not your rules. That's right, in the big squared circle. You and me. You might have walked out. You might have stood up. And you might have been able to get out of that arena last time, Paul. Well, next time, it might be a broken leg. It might be a broken arm. But Paul Orndorff, don't you dare take an eye off of me. Don't you dare turn your back on me. Because I will. And that's a promise to everybody. I will hurt you for good.
Somebody's going to get hurt, Orndorff says, and honestly, I believe him. He sounds like he means business. So this week, Jerry Cooley is back and still weighing 469 pounds of sweat and sadness, it would seem. Still looking like the third member of Men on a Mission, or perhaps if Mo or Mabel took on an indie wrestler as a member, kind of like how Axe of Demolition had his different outlaw wrestling demolition members after his WWF run. Anyway, Muraco, meanwhile, is working smarter, not harder. He lets Cooley gas himself out for a bit before throwing a backdrop on him. And then, shockingly, Don Muraco in 1990 hits a flying body press on this human waterbed of a man and gets the pin clean. Your winner, Don Muraco, again, with a flying body press. If you've seen Don Muraco in 1990, you get why I'm reiterating that. Now, next, I could spend an entire podcast just analyzing this next segment. Captain Lou, rubber bands and all, interviews Cutie Pie Louis Spicolli, who explains his nickname by comparing himself to babies and puppies. And it's, you know what? It's probably easier to let you just hear this. I know, I'm sorry, making you listen to Captain Lou's Corner 2 weeks in a row, but just check this out.
Hi, wrestling fans. It's week. It's Captain Lou Albano back again with the Captain's Corner. We have oddities in the world of professional wrestling. Right now, I'm going to interview a fella called Cutie Pie. Why Cutie Pie? Cutie Pie. Can I ask you, sir, why you used the name Cutie Pie? Why you couldn't go as your own name? I mean, what's the purpose of...
You're asking me You have hair all over your face. You got rubber bands on your forehead, and you're asking me why they call me Cutie Pie? Maybe we should ask you the question why they don't call you Cutie Pie. Just take one look at me, Captain. One look.
You give a young punk once a little bit of energy, and there he goes trying to over. What? I'm asking you why you use the name Cutie Pie instead of your own name. Just get back to the basic answer.
Well, first of all, look at this face. You cannot tell me I'm not cute. You cannot tell me I am not the best-looking man in the UWF.
Oh, you're very cute.
Oh, you got Paul Orndorff. Maybe he's a good wrestler, but he's an ugly guy. You got guys like Wild Thing. He's a good wrestler, but he's an ugly guy. He's a bottle blonde, Captain Lou. This is real blonde hair.
Yeah, I can see that.
That's why I'm a Cutie Pie. Now, you want to ask me...
You know, wrestling fans, you come out here at times and you do have the oddities in the world of professional wrestling. This is a great sport. But occasionally you got a guy, like I said, with the brain of a dehydrated baby. Keep your hands to yourself. That comes out here and tries to insult the host, Captain Lou Albano. But when I look at this man and you use the word Cutie Pie, I've got to say, he certainly is a Cutie Pie. That's in my book. Anything else to say?
You've been eating stale spaghetti you're going to throw up?
No, I've had a little garlic.
Oh, God. You're telling me.
Wrestling fans, it's Captain Lou, baby, with the Captain's Corner. And as I said, every once in a while, I've got to interview an oddity. And I happen to have the big, the tall, the fat, the small. And every once in a while, I get a Cutie Pie. And here he is standing at my side, all 5'11", 270 pounds. You're not in the ring with me, brother. Just remember yourself. Keep your mind clear because you need it, and you're not dealing with a full mind. But here's a man that goes as Cutie Pie. Go ahead, Cutie. Tell us a little more.
Well, okay, Captain. You got a little baby, right? Little baby in its bassinet. He's real cute, isn't he? Or you got a little puppy dog. You got a little puppy dog just born. He's real cute, isn't he? And then you got me, Cutie Pie Louis Spicoli. Louis Spicoli's the name.
Wrestling fans, when you talk about Louis Spicoli...
But a baby doll or a baby dog, they can't harm you. But I'll crush you.
The man is soft. He's as soft as a marshmallow baby in a 380-degree oven. When you talk about soft, this man is the king of soft.
Soft. King of cute.
Yeah, so there you have it. Another head-scratching edition of Captain Lou's Corner. Then we go straight to Herbie and Bruno and their box office segment. Of course, they're plugging all the events coming up in New York. They've added on 2 or 3 other events to piggyback the big Rumble and the Queens event that we've been hyping up for weeks now, which we'll talk a little bit about that card towards the end of the show here. And then next was the Ask the Wrestler segment, where a fan asked Captain Lou Albano a question. Like we haven't heard enough out of Captain Lou this week already. So you know what? We're going to skip that. Next up, we got B. Brian Blair taking on Cutie Pie, Louis Spicoli. And B. Brian Blair is accompanied by not only Honey, his valet/wife, he's also accompanied by more Captain Lou Albano. What the fuck? Brian Blair says he's out for blood, revenge, and sweet scorpion justice, it would appear. He's coming after taking out all his frustrations that he currently has on Bob Orton and John Tolos. He's taking them out on Cutie Pie here, so he's just getting tossed around like a stuffed animal in a tornado. Blair hits all of his big moves, but the real drama comes post-match when Cowboy Bob Orton and John Tolos hit the ring and start another beatdown, belt whippings and all, just like previously, which is the cue for Captain Lou Albano and Honey. Yes, she's back from concussion protocol after getting headbutted by Orton weeks ago. They get in the ring to make the save. Blair locks in his odd version of the Scorpion every week. Me and Bob talked about this in the earlier episodes of the Fury Hour, or the Fury Cast, rather. Brian Blair can't lock in a Scorpion to save his goddamn life, but yet every week he continues to try to use it as a finisher. And each week he hooks it in a little bit differently, but never correctly. I don't know. They should have forked out some money for some lessons from Sting or Bret Hart to get this thing applied right. In the promo that follows, Blair swears revenge for every ounce of pain, frustration, and damage he suffered, especially by Honey, and vows to make Orton and Tolos pay at Rumble in the Big Apple. Side note, props to Honey for selling that headbutt for 3 weeks like it was a career-ending injury, only to show up this week like she just came back from brunch with the gals. Well played, Honey. Now, this was a shocker. Steve Ray, who's usually the comic relief, is actually really good here in our main event. He's taking on the Russian Bear Ivan Koloff, as Herbie insists on calling him. They go back and forth, and it's a pretty good match. I mean, compared to what we've come to expect here on the Fury Hour anyway. Then, all of a sudden, it looks like Wild Thing is going to capture the win with a crossbody off the top rope. But Koloff eventually, although it was a struggle, eventually Koloff rolls through. He hooks the tights and barely squeaks out the win, which gets a loud bullshit chant from the fans here. So finally, something got these dead-ass UWF fans on their feet and angry. Who would have thought Ivan Koloff pulling the tights on the Wild Thing would get a bullshit chant from the UWF faithful here? But the real fun post-match, Ivan Koloff grabs his chain. He goes to attack the Wild Thing, only for the Wild Thing to grab the chain, reverse it, take it away from him, and then threaten Ivan Koloff with his own chain. Koloff bails like a coward. The fans cheer, and we're now set up a match at the Penta show between Ivan Koloff and Steve Ray. And honestly, this was the best match of the episode by a mile, and one of the better matches in the whole series of 13 episodes we've seen so far. So kudos to those guys. So coming up, we've got the big Penta Hotel card. It's like WrestleMania 3 in a ballroom, folks. You don't want to miss it. You're going to see the gigantic grudge match that we've been just pounding the hell out of now for weeks. Mr. Wonderful, Paul Orndorff, taking on Dr. Death, Steve Williams. Then in another grudge match, B. Brian Blair with Honey and Captain Lou taking on Cowboy Bob Orton with John Tolos. Then you're going to see Greg the Hammer Valentine make his debut, taking on The Rock, Don Muraco. And then a special treat here on this UWF card, AWA World Champion Larry Zbyszko taking on David Sammartino. In fact, let's hear from Larry right now what he has to say about this big match with David Sammartino.
10 years ago, right here in New York, I retired the greatest wrestler of the time, Bruno Sammartino. And it's kind of ironic that his own flesh and blood, the reason he stabbed me in the back, is going to get the same treatment in the same town. You know something, David? Here's your chance, kid. Here's your chance to look death in the face and spit in its eye. Here's your chance to stand on the threshold of your dream, grab reality, look up to the heavens and say, God, I've solved the secrets of life, and you get to stand face to face with the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world. And you get to look eye to eye with the same man who retired your father. And you're going to meet the same fate. And you're going to reside within the same legacy of the Sammartinos at the hands of the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world.
There he is, living legend, never at a loss for words, and he's always got a few words for a Sammartino. In this case, he had some for Bruno and David. But yeah, what a treat having the AWA World Title defended on a UWF card. Although, if you look at the time frame here, 1990, AWA wasn't exactly flourishing, so to speak. So I'm sure he was just proud to have a booking. Plus, we get the match that was just added to the card, Ivan Koloff in a big rematch with Wild Thing Steve Ray. And, of course, the big feud that we've been pumping up that started out between Colonel DeBeers and a referee has now blossomed into Colonel DeBeers versus the Iceman, King Parsons. So that's the card. It's a shame we can't go back in time and see it. Maybe some of those matches will appear right here on future episodes of the FuryCast. But for now, that's it for UWF Fury Hour episode 13. We had belt whippings, bizarre interviews, and some actual good wrestling out of Steve Ray and Ivan Koloff. Who would have thought? Join me next time when we see if Herb Abrams can top himself again, or at the very least, have two main events in a row where someone actually wins the match. It's a strange concept, but it just might work, Herbie. Give it a shot. I'm Gene Jackson, and this was the UWF FuryCast. If you liked it, hit subscribe, tell a friend, and if you didn't like it, start a loud bullshit chant wherever you happen to be right now. That would be fun. That's it for this week's folks. And remember, I watch this shit so you don't have to. Feel free to thank me later. In the immortal words of the great Bobby Heenan, you won't offend me with cash. See you next time.